Troubled Prince. Prince Harry reveals he had been very close to a complete nervous breakdown on numerous occasions. This is very interesting because this seems to sort of may explain Harry's behavior. He may be handing over control of his life to Meghan because he just is unable to cope. An explosive new biography claimed the royal's ex, Cressida Bonas, felt he was damaged after he struggled through his late 20s. Harry spoke out 3 years ago about how he felt his life was slipping into total chaos. Okay, now this is the narrative that Meghan is perfect and Harry has mental health issues. Okay, I made the same point with Kim Kardashian and Kanye. I think Kanye is a genius. I think Kim Kardashian is very clever and very wealthy, but she's not all good, and he's not a problem. Okay, and I don't want to hear it. And the same narrative is being played out with Meghan and Harry. Meghan is perfect, perfect, perfect. Everything Meghan does is perfect. She even pees in the woods. She's so perfect. Okay, she's perfect. And the birds are singing and their tails are dipped in pots of, colors, and everything is perfect with Meghan while she, strikes her yoga poses. Harry said it wasn't until he was 28 that he addressed his troubled mental health. He said, I can safely say that losing my mom at the age of 12 and therefore shutting down all of my emotions for the past 20 years has had a quite serious effect on not only my personal life, but my work as well. If you never deal with this stuff, it will mess with your mind. Quote, I've probably been very close to a complete breakdown on numerous occasions when all sorts of grief and lies and misconceptions and everything are coming to you from every angle. Yes, the lies and the misconceptions, the gaslighting. Nobody really tells you what's going on. He's having all these feelings. There's all these unresolved issues. That's what messes you up. His struggles were touched on in a new biography, Battle of Brothers, which further claimed Harry's ex, Cressida Bonas, thought he was damaged and self-obsessed. Cressida Bonas dated him for 2 years, and she later told friends that he had a neurosis about the media and complained about paparazzi even if there weren't any. Oh, this is interesting because isn't Meghan that person who constantly called the police while living in Toronto working on Suits, constantly complaining that people were filming her, lurking outside, stalking her, trying to break in, and now we have Harry saying this. That's interesting. I'm wondering, because Meghan puts all her stuff on Harry. Meghan didn't have a problem with Kate. No. There was no rivalry. There was no problem. And everybody could see that there was a problem. No, Harry has a problem with William. Okay, William is the problem. Meghan is never the problem. And now, this is very interesting. Okay, in the Battle of Brothers, and it's serialized now in the Daily Mail, it was claimed his behavior had taken its toll on Cressida. Robert Lacey, the author, wrote, even so, Cressida Bonas, his last serious girlfriend before Meghan Markle, came to feel he was damaged. Okay, we already read that. Quote, no matter how educated, talented, rich, or cool you believe you are, boy, that's a slap, she posted enigmatically on her Instagram page, quote, how you treat people ultimately tells it all. Ooh, what are you saying, Cressida? First of all, how rich or cool you believe you are? Okay, she's not saying he is. She's saying he believes he's rich and cool and talented. And she's suggesting that he didn't treat people very well. That is interesting. And it's not explained. It's an enigma wrapped in a riddle. Quote, she complained to friends that Harry had a neurosis about the media. He'd rant and complain about the paparazzi lurking where clearly there were none, she said. Sounds like Meghan. Because we think, and they're living at that mansion, what's that guy's name? Right before they bought the Montecito house, and they were claiming that the paparazzi were everywhere, flying drones, and this, they just keep doing this. This is Cressida. Good day, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel. Time for a spot of royalty. All of this stuff is from Battle of Brothers, Robert Lacey's book, and I think we're going to have a news stream from this book for quite some longer of a time. So Harry admits that he has been close to a nervous breakdown. I would say in my life I've probably had several nervous breakdowns, and a nervous breakdown is when you literally can't cope with the stresses being put against you. Look at how terrible he looks. Just, why would she post this on Instagram? That's just cruel. That's just really cruel. And here he looks terrible. She looks great. He looks terrible. He looks washed out. He looks confused. He looks fuzzy. But a nervous breakdown is when you just can't cope with all the stress in your life. I would say there are long periods of my life where I'm just like, I just can't deal with this. And so you eat, you sleep, you drink coffee, you do all the things you're supposed to do, but you're just overwhelmed. You can't deal with the overwhelming problems. Now, lucky for me, I was never into drugs or alcohol, so eventually you just climb out of it. Eventually, it's like having a bad foot or like a pulled muscle, and you're walking and, oh man, my leg hurts so bad. And eventually, after walking on this leg that is all cramped up and twisted for a while, and it's messing up your back, it's messing up your other leg, it's messing up your feet, finally you say, well, I should probably do something. And you start to do something about that foot. If you take drugs and medicate the pain, the solution that is designed is drugs. Okay, and you won't fix the foot. But if you just, eventually, if you're not on drugs or alcohol, you will just start to fix the foot and try to, and figure out how to walk straight again. And it just takes time. It just takes time. So I believe he probably did have a nervous breakdown. So let's look at, was Harry's life slipping into total chaos, okay, because of all the undealt with feelings and all the gaslighting, and nobody's really telling him what's going on. And that's the worst part, the gaslighting and no one telling you what's going on, because you can't figure it out. Was Harry's life slipping into total chaos? Did he have a nervous breakdown? No can be no or full stop. Oh boy, look at that. Total chaos or nervous breakdown. A nervous breakdown is like a full stop. Sun is like an explosion, and a full stop in his relationships. 10, 16, 4 spades. 4 spades is a great illness card. Full stop and illness, explosion due to karmic relationships. He credits this as the death of his mother. I'm sure that's a huge, huge deal for anybody. And of course, that rattled him, and really, there's so many emotions that would go along with that. But eventually you walk yourself out of the woods. I think William has walked himself through the hard part and, has pretty much come to terms with what's going on, and maybe Harry hasn't. But he definitely came to a full stop. He was quite in a dark place because of the death of his mother. Water into wine, renewal and transformation. Fox can be, he went to psychiatrists, psychologists. Fox can be, this can also be drinking. He may have turned to drinking and psychiatry for this problem. But he got some help. Okay, he's very wealthy. They have all kinds of resources. They know to send them to the right people. So what do we have here? We have handcuffs, bound or committed, Mother Earth, and roses, a good environment, and committed. And then we have snake and King of Spades. King of Spades can be a doctor, serious problems dealt with by a doctor, committed to dealing with these serious problems with a doctor, even though everything is fine on the surface. So it's all fine. It's all psychological. Everything's fine under the surface. on the surface, but underneath he's a mess. So I would say that he did have a breakdown. I don't think that's unusual. I think, like in my own life, I've had multiple breakdowns because life just gets too crazy and too much. And you just like, okay, I'm not going to fight anymore. And there is relief when you say, okay, I'm not going to fight anymore, and you just go into survival mode. That relieves you because you stop struggling. Saul, Saul, it is hard to kick against the goads. And that's when he was blinded on the road to Emmaus. And that's what a vacation is. You're supposed to just go on vacation, lay on a beach, and drink a lot of alcohol and make bad decisions, and you just stop for a week. So let's look at Meghan and Harry, but that's not how vacation really works, but that's what it's supposed to be. Let's look at Meghan and Harry. Has Harry completely abdicated control over his life to Meghan as a coping mechanism? Is he still in this, breakdown? He's unable to cope because it absolutely appears to me that Meghan has completely taken control of Harry's life and is just driving him off a cliff. And she's going to be left with all the money, all the titles, all the fame, everything. And if an Archie did exist, she would also take Archie. She's taken everything and she's driving him off a cliff. So has Harry abdicated complete control over his life to Meghan as a coping mechanism? I mean, is he in a complete breakdown right now? So Harry's over here, Meghan's here. So we'll put Harry here and we'll put Meghan there. Harry. Meghan. Harry abdicated complete control of his life to Meghan as a coping mechanism. Big change in his foundation. 4, Ace of Spades. Oh, no, this is 14. 14 is 4 diamonds. Okay. Over the long term, same stuff every day. Big change in his daily life of what happens every day and his foundation. And 4 diamonds. The entire structure of his life has been completely changed. Everything he sees on a daily basis has completely changed. He's now in America. He doesn't see any of his, he's raised in Britain. He grew up in Britain. All of his connections are in Britain. Everything has changed for him. She has completely transformed his life and changed the very structure of his life. Has he abdicated control to Meghan? Committed in everything. She's controlling everything. Very selfishly. 14, 16, 4 spades. So, yeah, Meghan is in control of everything. Meghan is in control of everything. And she's done this by completely isolating Harry from everything he knows and giving him no help. Okay, a lot of people have done this to me, and that's the source of breakdowns that I've had, is being completely isolated with no help. So that's a big strategy of really bad people. Heart and roadblock, 6, 2 diamonds. I'm doing what's best for you, Harry, but it's going to be hard for a while in the marriage. So, and here we have woman, 2 spades, broken chalice, and scourge. 5 and 12, 17, reacting to circumstances. So she's constantly working this separation strategy against Harry. So Meghan has taken complete control of Harry's life. Harry is a Muppet now. He's an automaton. He's a Muppet. He's not Harry anymore. And of course, he's going to get blamed for everything. And she's going to completely annihilate him as a human and then throw him away like garbage. does Harry have delusions about seeing the media spying on him and photographing him everywhere, especially when they're not there? So is Harry does he kind of suffer from delusions that the media is constantly spying on him everywhere he goes? Because this is something that Meghan does. So it's not surprising that they would fit together like, hand in glove with this nonsense, with the media spying thing. Does he suffer from delusions of the media spying on him all the time? Sickness and electronic media, very deeply rooted. Let's see, 1423. Yes, he's very, this is a very deeply ingrained paranoia in Harry, is that he's always being watched and photographed. And unfortunately, because he's so famous, whenever he's outside, whenever anybody can see him, people are always looking at him. Oh my gosh, is that Prince Harry? People are always photographing him. And I've seen the paparazzi. I lived in Miami. What do they dress like? What do they look like? They look like anybody on the street. They're just carrying a camera. Okay, they look like everybody. They look like anybody. These people are just, they can be anybody. They could be housewives. They, driving around looking for a thrill, but they're real paparazzi. Or they can be criminals who got out of prison, and it's hard for them to get a regular job, and they can get $5,000 for a photograph of this guy. So why not chase this guy around? Or I've seen them. They look like anybody. They look like everybody, and they're just dressed in street clothes, and you can't tell them from anybody else, except some of them are carrying enormous cameras. Like, wow, that's a camera. I mean, that's a camera you can see the Serengeti plain from Miami, Florida with that camera, and and get a close-up of an elephant. I mean, that's the kind of camera they carry. Some of them. Okay, what's underneath? Official, secret illness, reacting. Yeah, he has a real problem this way. He has a real problem this way. So Cressida, his ex-girlfriend, made the allegation that he mistreated people. He thought he was so famous and so clever and so talented. Thought he was. That's what she said. That's a quote. That's a weird quote, man. That's a real stab in the back kind of compliment. That's a real underhanded, backhanded compliment. So Did Harry, oh, that fell out. Did Harry mistreat people very badly in front of Cressida? The way Meghan does. Meghan is really famous for this. Okay, is Harry someone who mistreats, the staff and, passers-by and random people, treating them like, oh, you're not worth anything? Is he one of these people? Did he mistreat people in front of Cressida? Oh my goodness. Oh dear. Oh dear. All right, Magites. We're getting a clearer picture of what's really going on with Harry, because we're getting some real connections in behavior between Meghan and Harry, and this is another big connection. Okay, so on the surface, Star Bethlehem, very loving and royal family. 13 and 9. 22, 6 diamonds. So to all the people, he's very loving. On the surface, he's very loving. But look at Ellen. Okay, I like Ellen. Everybody likes Ellen. Everybody likes Ellen. She dances. I love the dancing. Her humor is really funny and clean. Everybody loves Ellen. But behind the scenes, she's a beast. People are being raped, and sexually harassed behind the scenes. Someone goes to mourn the death of their mother, and they come back and they're fired. Oh my God, they're ill and they have to go into the hospital, and then there's no job for them when they come back. Wow, she's a beast, man. She's a beast. Okay, so what's on the surface with Ellen was quite different than what's going on behind the scenes.
Okay, she just really felt like she was important, and she blamed it on other people. Well, that's what we have going on here with Harry. On the surface, Harry is a good dude. Everybody loves Harry. Okay, but he's slipping on Nazi uniforms. He's getting really drunk. He's groping up ladies. You know, there's naked billiards, etc. Okay, what's under the surface? Devil, player, earthquake, and yes, if the truth comes out, it's really, so let's see, we have 32, 22, 32, 41. Jack of Hearts, yeah. Wow, he gets all the jacks. So he has, there's 3 jacks here. He's many different people. Okay, he's not one person. He may kind of suffer from, you know, splitting of his personality. He's not a consistent kind of person. He's like 3 different people. Sometimes he can be a devil, sometimes he can be a player, sometimes he can be an angel. Okay, because this adds Jack of Hearts. Okay, and it's really bad. So the Harry that we're always seeing, the Harry that is so beloved by the public, there's multiple other Harrys behind the surface. So this is a very interesting reading, because Harry is extremely paranoid about being watched all the time. This happened to me in Miami. This is why I didn't like living in Miami, because literally every time I walked outside, people were watching me everywhere. Do I feel like that's going on here where I live now? No. That's never really happened in any other place. But in Miami, everywhere I went, if I rode my bike, if I walked outside, if I stood on my my porch, and I go and stand outside on my porch 5 times a day here, no one's ever watching me here. No one. I love going out and smelling the fresh air on my porch, seeing what the weather is. I don't care how cold or hot it is. I'm going out on the porch. Nobody's watching me. But in Miami, I was watched 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, and that's part of why I don't like Miami, because I'm like, what's wrong with you freaks? So that's how Harry feels. He just feels like he's being watched all the time, and he has a real issue with it, and he is super famous, and people are always noticing him wherever he goes. You better get used to it, buddy. You better get used to it. Okay, he is multiple different persons. He does believe that people are watching him all the time. This boy, does that dovetail with Meghan? So they have the same paranoia. They mistreat the crap out of people the same way. She's absolutely controlling his life, and she did it by changing everything for him, and she doesn't have his interests at heart. And did Harry have a breakdown? He absolutely had a breakdown because of Diana. He's seeing the doctor and is medicated, and he's committed to following the doctor's program, even though everything is okay on the surface. So this reading really kind of digs up that the Harry that we're always seeing. Okay, a lot of people on the channel are saying that this was the real Harry all along. Okay, well, who is the real Harry? Okay, people are complicated. They can get upset. They can, get drunk. They can, run away. They can have mental breakdowns, all kinds, and they can be great. They can be in control and fabulous and really speak intelligently and soberly and be great. This is all the same person. Harry is a complex person like this too. But we are seeing that he does have multiple different sides to him, and some of the really ugly things in Harry's personality really fit perfectly with some of the really ugly things in Meghan's personality. Meghan is really nasty to people, and she's incredibly paranoid about paparazzi and people watching her. And Harry has exactly these qualities. He is paranoid and ugly to people in the same way, and maybe for similar reasons. So that's quite interesting and insightful. That's how I see it. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination, Fortune Telling, the Magi Method. Find the book worldwide on Amazon and Kindle and paperback versions. Find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. Many thanks to the many generous folks who have bought me a cup of tea. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe.